How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. We are on the verge of something huge here in crypto, and we had some big news here today that I want to share with you and talk to you about how to become rich in crypto because it's still very possible. And you can do that with Cardano, you can do it with Ethereum, Bitcoin. But I want to show you a clip first from Raoul that kind of explains some of the big news that happened here today that will, I think, provide some color to it. So you get an idea for where the brightest minds in the community are and why this news is so big here today. So Savvy Finance did some edits over this video, so definitely check them out.
Equity market all-time record high valuations, fixed income market all-time record low yields, credit markets all-time record low yields, property prices all-time record highs. So I spent a long time thinking about what is going on and seeing the markets go up so fast in the middle of still what the largest recession of our lifetimes and basically of the last 100 years. And I realized that if you divided the S&P or any of these by the Fed balance sheet, they'd gone nowhere. So they were just offsetting the debasement. So I started looking through all markets, thinking, okay, what's offsetting and what's not? And what's interesting is the S&P was basically just about offsetting it. Gold was doing okay, but not great. Real estate was about the same. They were all kind of trading in a range with each other, which showed you this denominator effect that I'm talking about was happening. Except two things, the NASDAQ and crypto. When you look at it, this technology that is going on is facing network effects, Metcalfe's law. These are not like bringing out a new product, a better mouse or whatever, right? These are things, new things that create adoption effects. Adoption effects, network effects, Metcalfe's law don't price in P/E ratio terms. That's why nobody owned Amazon all the way up, particularly cynical people, macro people, gold bugs. It's like, I can't own this. It's
right.
a P of 600.
And why Tesla at its valuation was still rising.
Correct. And nobody got it, and they still don't get it. But those FANG stocks have outperformed, and we all got it wrong. To be honest, we all got it wrong. And because we didn't understand. But the more we got into crypto, the more we started to understand network effects and realizing that it applies. Okay, so what is coming down the pike is something so extraordinary that I've just changed my entire macro framework based on it. Basically, you're about to connect the entire planet with free data in the next 5 years. Everybody. You're then going to give them the whole crypto world of digital banking, digital money, stores of value, all of that. You're going to then be able to distribute computing power across massive networks, distributed computing like we do with cloud. That increases the computing power for science. And it goes on and on. So we've got a ton of these technologies, and I've only listed some of them, that are all coming out in the next 5 years. None of these are ideas now, they're all products. They're all happening. The Internet of Things, all of this is happening. So we're going to go probably through the largest change in human history of technology in the shortest period of time. We've also got the metaverse, the digital world. I think the metaverse itself can double the size of global GDP because it's like discovering the Americas again. It's a whole new world where you can earn money, own real estate, do investing, create businesses, live essentially. Okay, so you've doubled the size of the world. People don't get their heads around the size of what is happening. And crypto is part of that picture, and it's all happening right now.
So what Raoul said was very interesting. He basically looked at some of the top assets versus the Fed balance sheet. And you can see here the S&P 500 versus the Fed balance sheet. Basically, they're going up evenly. And this is very interesting. Some of the only assets that outperformed, again, are the NASDAQ and crypto. So what happened here today was huge, which is the first time that you could buy cryptos such as Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, Filecoin, Litecoin, Orchid, Algorand, and Bitcoin Cash from your FDIC insured checking account. So this is Vast Bank that's allowing their clients to do this, and it's very fascinating. You can go on there straight on the mobile app and you can buy Bitcoin. So it was approved by the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, and the matter was discussed with the Federal Reserve. Now, the fascinating thing is, if you talk about Metcalfe's law, the value of a network goes up exponentially as more users use it. Obviously, we have El Salvador accepting Bitcoin as legal tender. We have the global adoption of crypto, but it's starting here in the US. We have some of the largest banks. You can see here the top 10 largest banks and what they're doing with some of their clients. I took the top 5. We have JP Morgan Chase, led by Jamie Dimon, quietly unveils access to cryptocurrencies. They're creating a digital coin for payments. Next up, Bank of America, number 2. They approve a Bitcoin futures trading. Wells Fargo, number 3, set to offer a crypto fund to rich clients. Number 4, Citigroup. Citi set up a digital assets group within the bank's wealth management division to offer clients access to crypto. They're allowing Bitcoin futures trading. Next up, we have US Bank, which was kind of early on. This is coming back in April. They're offering cryptocurrency services. So we have all these massive banks that are offering crypto to their clients. Now, what's interesting is we have printed a ton of money this last year, and there are only so many places people can put it. If you are someone that's ultra wealthy, you can invest in real estate, but it doesn't really make sense for you to buy a lot of real estate if you don't have a lot of time, and you can't go out and buy a bunch of single family homes, maybe hire someone to do it. But if you are a billionaire, it's kind of difficult to do. Also, if you are trying to look at other assets that will actually perform well, really you're stuck in equities, and equities have gone up drastically. So that is where it becomes really interesting starting to look at cryptocurrencies, because it's one of the only liquid investments out there for ultra high worth individuals. And once it starts being offered to some of the people that maybe haven't had the time to research it and they really trust their banks. I mean, heck, I worked at a bank for a long time, and I know some people just don't know about money, don't care to know about money, but they trust the people that they go to on a weekly basis. Once it starts being offered there, I think it'll gain massive adoption. Now, one other thing is, these banks have not been super bullish on cryptocurrency. They used to be bearish. Now they're just really quiet, I think, as they're unveiling this to some of their clients, trying to get them onboarded. But the interesting thing is, with Vast Bank being one of the first banks to do this, I don't know how this is going to work in terms of spread or in terms of how the banks make money from this. Maybe they won't make any money, but I'm guessing they will. The spread is insane on some of these cryptocurrencies. So if Coinbase is willing to work with, let's say, Vast Bank, because they are working with them, and then they're going to work with JP Morgan, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Citigroup, US Bancorp, and they're willing to take maybe half the spread, and then the bank at the other half, that's a lot of money coming into these banks. I mean, we know how profitable Coinbase is, bringing in hundreds of millions of dollars from these spreads every single quarter, actually bringing in a couple $1 billion worth of profit last quarter. We know that these banks will be able to make a lot of money from this, so they will push this to their clients most likely. Now, I will say also, we have a lot of money sitting in US banks, and we'll talk about how much money you actually have to have in crypto to become very wealthy, depending on a couple different scenarios. But we have $2.2 trillion in total deposits in just JP Morgan Chase, nearly $2 billion in Bank of America, nearly $1.5 trillion in Wells Fargo, Citibank, $1.3 trillion. And we can go down the line. There's a lot of money in these. So how much money overall is there? Well, I calculated about $15 trillion from the top 250. So that's a lot of money that's sitting there just waiting to be put somewhere. And with some of the interest rates that you get on checking accounts, on savings accounts, on CDs, there's a lot of money to be made in crypto. Now, I will say too, if we're looking at how much money you need in crypto to become rich, it depends on a couple different scenarios, but we can run them here. So the total market cap today of crypto is about $2.25 trillion. Market cap of gold alone is about $11.5 trillion. So assuming that the whole market cap of crypto moves up just to the market cap of gold, that is about 5.1x. Now, I think that that's actually a little bit low, because I think Bitcoin itself will become a market cap about this large, which would mean about 10 to 15x. I will say too, in case you are interested in crypto, you can check out the links down below to BlockFi to get an interest rate on your cryptocurrency, and to Voyager in case you want more assets to get interest on. But let's look at something like the global equities market, because we compared crypto to the global equities market in the sense that it's liquid and it's a way to invest in innovation. Market cap of global equities is $110 trillion, and that is just as of the end of 2020, so most likely it's much higher now. because we're about 9 months in. A lot of different stocks have done quite well this year. So that is a 48.8x from here, basically a 50x. So if you want to become rich in crypto right now, let's say you're investing in Bitcoin or Ethereum or Cardano, because there are a lot of big innovations here coming and a lot of use cases for crypto, and you think that this is going to become as large as the global equities market, we're talking about nearly a 50x move from here, meaning if you had $20,000 in crypto now, you would become a millionaire. Now, I think it's going to be somewhere in between these two scenarios, at least in the next 10 years. I don't think we'll grow to the global equity market, but to be fair, there's a lot of innovation happening in cryptos, and there's going to be a lot of crossover where these companies are publicly listed. There's going to be a lot of crossover where these companies help publicly listed companies do different things. So it would not surprise me if we blow up very quickly up into a 20 trillion, 30, 40 trillion dollar market cap overall. Now, that being said, I think it's important to invest in good quality projects and to spread that around. If you are sitting here thinking you want to invest all your money into Cardano, it's probably not the best long-term option, because there are a lot of good cryptocurrencies to hold, and mitigating risk is really important, because if we do a 20 or 30 or 40x, everyone's going to make a lot of money. What you don't want to do is invest in the wrong project that only does a 5x or something. It's the one that brings the average down a little bit as opposed to bring the average up. So just getting the average return of a 20x over the next 10 years is good enough. I mean, think about it from that perspective. Of course, you can invest in the projects you really like. I think that's wise, just like in the S&P 500. If you invest in individual stocks that do better, that's great. But most of us don't invest in one single stock in the S&P 500 or in equities. So that's just something to consider. Of course, do your own research, but I think we're at a very interesting point, and we're kind of at this inflection curve in innovation. Now, of course, let me know your thoughts down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you in the next video.